So whatever I'm putting in there seems to scoot by, and they seem to be pleased with it. So that's all good. So for fans around the state who are looking to go to a bowl game on December the 20th, and you got one right here in South Carolina, you don't have to be an ODU fan or a Tulsa fan. I know we've got a link to y'all's website on our website, sportstalksc.com. You can click on the digital ad, take you right to it. That's a good way to buy tickets. And how is that going from an outsider standpoint, and what else can fans do?
Yeah, it's going really well so far. Like I said, we have a number of fans traveling from both of the teams, but we'd love to see some people from the state of South Carolina and, other neighboring states come down and just enjoy great competition on the field. I mean, this is high-level Division I college football, and I think any football or sports fan would enjoy coming to watch the game down here in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, it's a beautiful stadium. I think the teams will be a little bit taken back by the teal turf. What do you think?
I think they might be, but it's pretty cool to check out.
It is. I mean, well, Mr. Bergen, who Well, we wish you the best of luck, and look forward to seeing what those two teams have in store for us, and hopefully a nice crowd will turn out for you, and you'll have continued success with your bowl game there in Myrtle Beach. It's great to have a bowl game in South Carolina, and you guys are presenting that. So thank you for doing so, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Please tune in on Monday if you have a chance.
You got it. Thank you so
Rachel.
much. All right, there you go. Rachel Quigley, director of the Myrtle Beach Bowl in Myrtle Beach. And I'm just wasn't tooting Tax Act because they're responsible.
I like that.
Actually do use it.
How about that?
And it's very user friendly. I mean, you got to know some of the stuff about filing taxes, some of the terms, things like that. But if you want to do it yourself, that's a good place to go right there. Tax Act.
Interesting about this matchup, and we need, and I say we as a collective state, we need to support this game because it's rare for us to have these type of events here in South Carolina, and I hope the Myrtle Beach Bowl is here for a long, long time. But Phil, Old Dominion is playing, as we mentioned, against Tulsa. Old Dominion has a similar path to the FBS level that Coastal had. You go back to 2008, there was no Old Dominion football. They resurrected that team in 2009 after almost 70 years absence. Then they go and win their lone bowl game a couple of years back down in the Bahamas. So, with Coastal having a fairly, young football program in its infancy now, and it's getting ready for its 20th season, and you've got a similar circumstance with Old Dominion, they might fit right in down in Conway because the team that normally plays there had a similar pathway that the Monarchs have.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope the fans get out and support it. They need to have a good crowd in there to show the support of the event so that it can have a nice long run in Myrtle Beach. I know it's an ESPN-backed event, and they want television programming during the holidays. You want football. You want bowl games. And Myrtle Beach is a tropical paradise in December. At least right now, the entire state of South Carolina is a tropical paradise here in mid-December. I mean, I'm kind of happy about it. I got a feeling the first part of college baseball season and spring practice is going to be real cold. We're going to make up for it at some point in time. You got to believe that. We'll get to your phone calls after this break.
The Tailed Reader Cure Bowl is more than a game. The Cure Bowl is a movement to help end cancer. Join us as the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers take on the Northern Illinois Huskies. Since 2015, the Bowl has raised a collective $3.88 million for cancer research. We are bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. Join us as Orlando goes pink. Learn more about the game, our memberships, and tickets today at curebowl.com.
Hey, folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history, and with home values up in many areas, now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call to the one and only Stuart Wingo of Ameris Bank could save you money. If you're looking for competitive rates and exceptional service, call Stuart Wingo. 803-319-1777. That's 803-319-1777. 1777. You will save money just like I have so many times over the years. You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
I'm not like some whoop-de-doo executive chef. I consider myself more of a baker than a chef. I like working with my hands. I like turning regular ingredients into like something spectacular.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has funded over 450,000 life scholarships in our state, giving countless students a chance to answer their calling, just like Aaron. Your passion is our purpose.
Hi, I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and I've got a great gift idea that requires zero shopping, the gift of college savings. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan makes it easy. Grandparents, friends, and family can all contribute to a Future Scholar account and know that they're providing a gift that will last a lifetime. If you're looking for the perfect gift this holiday season, look no further. Learn more about the smart, easy way to save and give this holiday season at futurescholar.com.
Bowl season is here. Tulsa and Old Dominion will meet for the second ever Myrtle Beach Bowl, presented by TaxAct. The Golden Hurricane and the Monarchs will square off at Brooks Stadium on Monday, December 20th at 2:30. Get your tickets now at myrtlebeachbowlgame.com.
Here on Sports Talk, we can get to your phone calls, and thanks again to our guests for being with us tonight. Phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery, here on Sports Talk. Since 2002, more than $572 million in lottery proceeds have been used to fund Palmetto Fellow scholarships for the state's college-bound students. Learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at sceducation.com/education. Wins, and playing for fun is a win for education. Lots going on, lots to talk about. We are wide open for your phone calls. We'll bring you a little Dabo Swinney from his press conference, which is just wrapped up. A couple of other things he mentioned. The two Venables boys are staying at Clemson. They're not going to go with their dad to Oklahoma. And also, Braylon Spector is out. The linebacker is out for the bowl game with a hand injury. Another piece of news coming from Dabo Swinney. And let me mention this real quick. The new contracts and compensation approved today by the Clemson Board of Trustees Compensation Committee. So Brandon Streeter had 2 years added to his contract, now through 2025. He'll make $925. Wesley Goodwin, the new DC and linebackers coach, 3-year contract through 2015. He'll make $850. Mickey Kahn had 2 years added to his contract through 25. He'll make $800. He was making $515. Goodwin goes from $160 to $850. That's the kind of raise I want.
Dinner on him.
Streeter goes from $615 to $925. Todd Bates, contract added 2 years through 25. He goes from $515 to $715. Mike Reed, contract added 2 years to 25. $540 to $700. And Kyle Richardson, he gets a 2-year contract through 24. He goes from $210 to $500,000. So those are the additions and the new guys and the veteran guys who had some years added to their contract as they have some new responsibilities. What else you got, Pat?
Just wanted to add another note with the two Venables boys that are brothers that are staying at Clemson. Jake Venables, the older one, who actually has 2 years of eligibility left, he's retiring from football. So he's staying at Clemson, but he will be moving into an on-field coaching role, Dabo went on to say. So the younger brother will continue to play for Clemson, but it's worth distinguishing Jake, the older brother, is going to now be a coach on the Clemson staff.
All right. Did not see that before. Yeah, things are still coming out from Dabo. What time did they start? About 5:15 or so?
He was actually, and Dabo's notoriously late for press conferences. He was pretty much right on time tonight and went 20 minutes just with his opening statement. and has been going ever since. I think he's finally wrapped things up. If not, he's pretty close to doing so. But he talked about blowing up his staff. He's actually looking forward to sort of being the mad scientist, if you will, in reworking his staff and make some changes. He said there will be more coming. But obviously, the news today was the big stuff filling both coordinators' roles.
What more? What more could there be?
He said they might be bringing in some people for some off-field, how the football staffs have grown to, a small city size anymore.
Yeah.
So he said there may be some of those coming. But for the most part, I think we see what the staff is going to look like into next year.
Yeah, I saw where he hired the former coach at is it Jacksonville, John Grass?
Jacksonville State, yes.
Yeah. So he's coming in one of those off-the-field analyst roles. All right, let's go to Delvin in Fountain Inn, and we'll take a bunch of your phone calls now moving forward. We'll do recruiting as well, tell you some other things that are going on. Love to hear from you, 888-898-2525. And Delvin, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We're good. Good to have you with us.
Yeah, I think you were talking about his support stuff, like Thad Turner leaving, like the guys who come in to replace them guys. Hey, he gonna blow that up and we discuss this support stuff. That's what I think he was talking about. But I think that the hires, I like the hires. People seem to forget that Brandon Screener was an offensive coordinator before he came to Clemson. Had some great offenses with Liberty and Richmond, so he know how to call plays. And Dowell said that they're gonna stick to philosophy I do, but he said that Brandon will be able to put some of his stuff in there, what he wants to do. And what's good when getting a lot of praise when you get praise from Bruce Arians and all the other coaches and Sylvester Croom and all those guys, and Brent Venables wanted to take you. Dowell said, you can't have him. Like Dowell said in the press conference, you can't have him. But I think there's a lot of praise, and I like the fit with Spencer Rattler and that tight end. I think it's Austin. I forgot his last name. Coming to Oklahoma. I think that's a great fit for South Carolina, and we're gonna see now. Fans will complain about Marcus Satterfield offense. Now we can see South Carolina fan what kind of offense he can have when he got a quarterback there now.
Oh man, those critics, they have gone underground. You don't hear peep from them now because a story in the state newspaper today by Ben Portnoy, he talked to the longtime quarterback coach of Spencer Rattler, a guy that has been coaching him since he was like 10 years old. And he said in the story, one of the reasons Spencer Rattler liked South Carolina, Marcus Satterfield and his pro-style offense, because that's what he's good at. And so all of a sudden, that crowd out there that demanded a change at offensive coordinator and don't let this guy go out recruiting and he's a buffoon and he's an idiot. Well, you know what? I got a feeling Marcus Satterfield is going to be a much better coach with Spencer Rattler and others coming into the offense. They're going to have better players. They're going to be a better offense. They got to get a little bit better on the offensive line too. Maybe some of these incoming freshmen will turn out to be quality players from the get, and that'll help improve the offensive line. They got to get more big playmakers at receiver. I imagine that with the few spots left that Beamer has for this class, he's going to really shake the tree there in the portal, John, and see if some good receivers fall out. I really think that. And I don't know if they're going to sign a running back in this class. The one they're waiting on, they've been recruiting, is Ramon Brown from up in Virginia, who's been committed to Virginia Tech. I don't know, haven't seen any signs where he's going to shake free of that and go to South Carolina or somewhere else. Again, they might have to go to the portal or wait until February, see if they can find a running back they like.
Yeah, and I think what Dubble gonna do, I think he didn't talk about it today, but he probably asked about it tomorrow with the recruiting class. He might have to go to I think Clemson definitely gonna go to the portal during this year.
I think so too. I mean, I think Dabo Swinney's come to realize that he's got to do that. He is a stubborn bird, isn't he? Now, Smitty, I guess when you have been as successful as he is doing it his way, it's hard to break loose and do what others are doing. Just like, I mean, I don't know that he talked, I can't say this, with 100% certainty, but did he talk to anybody outside his program about being the DC or about being the OC?
No. I mean, he actually was asked that question. Pete Icabelli from the Associated Press. That was it. Pete's first question was, what kind of interest did you get, and did you consider bringing somebody in from the outside? He said, obviously they got a lot of interest. It's Clemson football, so that was going to attract a lot of interest. But he said it took him 30 seconds, direct quote, 30 seconds to figure out what he was going to do with his staff, and he had no interest, at least from what he said today, had no interest in bringing in anybody from the outside. He felt like he had the competent staff inside to promote. He feels very confident with them.
Well, he believes in his people, and you know what? They believe in him, and that's where loyalty comes from. That's how you develop loyalty, and those people always have your back. Now, I mean, it's either going to pay off in spades, and they're going to continue to be very, very good on both sides of the ball. I mean, I know the offense has struggled this year, but we all know Clemson's offense is going to get better. I mentioned the odds for the Heisman Trophy for 2022 that came out today. So Spencer Rattler is third, 7-1, behind Bryce Young, 13-4, and C.J. Stroud, 5-1. Behind Spencer Rattler, next, DJ Uiagalelei, 20. Well, not necessarily behind him. I'm sorry, but DJ Uiagalelei is on the list at 22-1. Grayson McCall is on the list at 40-1. Cade Klubnik, before he takes his first snap in college, is 50-1, and Will Shipley is 66-1. So Clemson's got 3 on this list as candidates. Should also mention that Texas A&M running back Isaiah Spiller is leaving. He's headed for the NFL draft. And USC women's basketball player Aaliyah Boston is the player of the week in the Southeastern Conference. Florida State's Mike Norvell agreed to a 1-year contract extension through 2026. And I threw out a instant reaction poll question last night, Chris. And that is, does Spencer Rattler become the best quarterback in South Carolina once he steps foot in South Carolina? 549 votes in less than a day. 77.2% said, hell yeah. 15.1% said no, Grayson McCall is. 7.7% said no, DJ Uiagalelei is. You still got some time to vote on that one and our other poll question. Back after the top of the hour break.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The Senate approved legislation Tuesday to lift the nation's debt limit by $2.5 trillion under a deal struck between party leaders, diffusing a volatile issue until after next year's midterm elections. The 50-49 party line vote came just 1 day shy of a deadline set by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who warned about avoiding the nation's first ever default. At least 88 people across 5 states are known dead following last weekend's tornado outbreak, one that flattened the town of Mayfield, Kentucky. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says victims are finding places to stay.
I don't think we have a single person who's without a home to go to. Even if they lost their own home, they're going to neighbors, to friends, to a state park near there. We believe we've got shelter for everyone.
More than 100 people are still missing. An ethics board in New York tells former Governor Andrew Cuomo to return money from a book deal.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo has been ordered by New York's Ethics Commission to give up the millions of dollars he was paid to write a book about his response to the pandemic. An attorney for Cuomo immediately called the action unconstitutional and promised to fight back. Cuomo was directed to turn over proceeds earned from a book called American Crisis: Leadership Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic within 30 days. The order comes a month after the commission voted to rescind approval of Cuomo's $5.1 million book deal. Cuomo resigned in August amid findings he sexually harassed 11 women. I'm Shelley Adler.
On Wall Street, the Dow down by 106 points to close at 35,544. The Nasdaq dropping 175. The S&P 500 lower by 34. Oil dropped 91 cents to $70.38 a barrel. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For a free quote, call 800-523-3771. That's 800-523-3771. 800-523-3771. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The chief of the United Nations says limited access in Iran is not giving experts a full picture of its nuclear program. Correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
Rafael Mariano Grossi warns the restrictions faced by his inspectors in Iran threaten to give the world only a very blurred image of Tehran's program, as it enriches uranium closer than ever to weapons-grade levels. Speaking in a wide-ranging interview to the Associated Press, Grossi says he wants to tell Iran that there's no way round his inspectors at the International Atomic Energy Agency. The UN warns Iran deal negotiations in Vienna are not making progress. The chief of Iran's civilian nuclear program has insisted his country would refuse the IAEA access to a sensitive centrifuge assembly plant. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
Are you worn out from wall-to-wall political talk? Instead of hearing more about the stuff in Washington that's mostly out of your control, I'll give you the tools to actually take control of your money and your life. Dave Ramsey here. Join me right here on The Point. I'm live and taking your calls weekdays at 2 p.m. I'll teach you how to get on a written plan that actually works, get out of debt, and build wealth. Weekdays at 2 p.m. The Dave Ramsey Show at 100.7 The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. Oh, you pressed the wrong button. Oh, residual.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we are back, and you are too. And you can reach us. Phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. And the lines are wide open for you right now. I know we got basketball going on. We've lost some of our affiliates to basketball. If we lost those folks, perhaps maybe you've picked us up on our stream, on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. We finally got the iPad. Our iPad crapped out on us on Saturday. And it took us, well, really 2 days to get it back working again. And then once we got it back working again, it took us a half hour to be able to sign into the darn thing. I've never seen such a thing before, trying to get into an Apple product. I mean, I know Apple products, I guess, are great. I'm not an Apple product owner. I tend to go the Android route. But anyway, what a mess. What a mess to go through the different steps to get your simple little iPad to work. But anyway, you don't want to hear about
jump in here
problems.
real quick. Well, and that's the thing I was going to tell our listeners. I have had great delight listening to Pat and Phil comment during the breaks. Folks, if you really want to see Sports Talk After Dark, you should have seen what those two have gone through the last 2 nights. Aside from throwing something through the glass in the studio, that's about all you guys did not try.
It's
props to you for getting it to work.
It's a pain. It's a pain, but it's working now. It's working now. So our Twitter feed is up, our Facebook feed is up, our YouTube feed up as well. And again, phone calls available now, 888-898-2525. They're so busy there in that first half hour, 45 minutes. We didn't get a chance to really dive back into things, Chris. Let's talk about, in all seriousness, the transfer of Spencer Rattler to South Carolina and his tight end, his good buddy, who's making the move with him as well. Um, Austin Stogner, who's a very good player in his own right, 47 catches in his career at Oklahoma. He's a big guy. He's about 6'6", 251. So, this is sort of like, and I'm not putting him on the same level, believe me, but I mean, it's sort of like a Brady Gronkowski thing. You got the quarterback with one of his favorite receivers, the tight end, big body tight end. I could see them doing a lot of wonderful things in South Carolina's offense. I really can.
Well, and what do we hear the entire offseason from Marcus Satterfield and Shane Beamer, especially when they were trying to work the recruitment of Oscar Delp? Hey, we throw to the tight end. We throw it to the tight end. Not sure they threw it to the tight end as often as they would have liked. I think, though, when you get the right-hand man, if you will, come in with Spencer Rattler, you may see the tight end even more so involved. And, you got to give Shane Beamer a lot of credit for not just getting Rattler. I think, obviously, the relationship that he built when he was at Oklahoma really helped this, but also filling another area of need with Nick Muse, moving on. They needed a tight end. They didn't get Oscar Delp like they had hoped. Here's a pretty good fit for them in the transfer portal.
Absolutely. And, they do have a bevy of tight ends. I mean, Jaheim Bell technically is a tight end, but he plays so many different positions. And Kevion Mullins didn't do much last season. I'm not sure. Is he still there? Did he move on? I'm trying to remember.
No, I think he's coming back. Yep.
Okay. And then they've got then there's the other tight end, number 12, whose name escapes me. Kenyon from over in North Carolina. Is that Travion Kenyon, I think? But he's not much of a receiver. Didn't show that he's much of a receiver. So this tight end certainly shows that he's got receiving skills and can be a big factor for them that way. So significant noise made by South Carolina last night. Not only that, Chris, and I apologize for calling you Smitty in the last half hour, though I think you probably took that as a badge of honor.
I did, actually. I took the compliment. And like I've said before, just don't call me late for dinner. I'll answer to just about anything.
No, I've had Smitty on the mind. We were talking all the way into the studio tonight, so I had Smitty on the mind. But anyway, this shows to a lot of people that Shane Beamer can get it done. It gives him a lot of credibility. This was the big story on the college sports scene last night, and it had all the people who are the pundits across the country tweeting about it and reacting to it and talking about it. So this really was a very positive point for South Carolina football. Now they've got to build on it, and they can't waste this opportunity. You're probably going to get 1 year with these two guys, and you got to make the most of it against a very difficult SEC schedule again next year.
Shane Beamer did something that very few coaches of 6-6 football teams can do, and that's get on the national front page in the national scene for an entire evening. If you were talking college football last evening after we went off the air, this was the story. Spencer Rattler selecting South Carolina, and people trying to figure out why would he go to the Gamecocks, what was the connection, and all this different type of stuff. Just any publicity, the old saying is that marketing is good publicity. This was truly good publicity for them. And I'm really curious now, too, Phil, how this is going to shake up that quarterback room. You mentioned earlier that Jason Brown has already had a conversation with Shane Beamer. Don't know the details of that, whether or not – I can't imagine he would leave because he's going to start the bowl game in a week or so. So I would think he's going to be at least get through the remainder of the season. But now what do you do? If you're Luke Doty, especially coming off surgery, do you stick around wondering if Spencer Rattler is a rent-for-hire quarterback for just a year, and then perhaps you get the job back? And how about the four-star quarterback that they've got coming in that they recruited a long time ago that may get lost to the shuffle here in terms of coming in as a freshman?
Here's what you tell him, and I'm sure they have. I mean, if they're being upfront with him, they probably said, look, we're going to look for a quarterback, kind of a one-year deal in the portal, somebody who's really good, who's older, who might be here just a year. You're going to come in redshirt anyway. So this isn't going to impact you. Now, Braden Davis, I mean, this is a guy that appears to have a very solid future ahead of him. Keep in mind, he comes from an NFL background. His father was a great player at Tennessee and in the NFL. And so he's got a pedigree. He also has a very strong arm. I mean, Clemson offered him very early in the recruiting process. They did not really pursue him, but he was one of their early quarterback offers. And you know how stingy they are with their quarterback offers. So this is a guy you got to be protective of and make sure he stays in the program.
Right. Especially if Rattler's only going to be, as you pointed out, and I think you're probably right, just for this upcoming football season. And then after next year, he's gone. So, yeah, you can't have your quarterback room fall apart. But, QBs, not just at Carolina, across the board, QBs carry a great and large ego. And Spencer Rattler is one of those guys that it appears has a big ego. How do you massage all of those and make sure everybody's still happy for another football season?
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at the rest of the room, and Luke Doty. I would think that his days at quarterback may be numbered at South Carolina. Would he be willing to make the move to wide receiver and use his skills there? Could he make that transition? And then you've got Colton Gauthier, who is redshirted this year. What's he thinking about the future? I mean, same thing with him. He realizes that Rattler's going to come in and be the guy, and then he can compete with Braden Davis moving forward if he decides to stick it out. That's the question. Who's going to stick it out? There still is going to be major roster turnover at South Carolina as we move forward. After the bowl game, you're probably going to see transfers happen after the bowl game, and then you'll go through spring practice, and the guys who sense they're not going to get a chance to play, they're probably going to hit the portal, John. What you got, man?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like this may be a bit of a missed opportunity, and where I'm going with this is, Corn, you've mentioned in the past not being a big fan of the big flashy announcements when you see a commitment, they're on ESPN and they pull out the hat or whatnot. But Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner, it would have been hilarious if they filmed a commitment video sitting at a table announcing they were going to follow their coach from OU to USC. But then they pull out South Carolina hats, unzip their jackets to reveal Shane Beamer's face, going, the real USC. Now, that would have gotten Gamecock fans electric.
That would have been awesome. You're right.
I don't know how much more tipsy you can be than they were last night. I mean, just looking at the reaction on Twitter, and it's not just the fans. I mean, it's all the website people associated with the program. I mean, they went gaga, and I guess justifiably so. I mean, this team needs some talent. It needs an infusion of big time talent in a number of areas, and you have to start at quarterback. And I believe with today's football, I mean, I know it's not so simple that being good at quarterback means you're going to be good everywhere on offense, but it's got to start at quarterback now. This is a sport that has become quarterback centric.
No
and if
doubt.
you're not good at quarterback, you're going to be bad on offense. That's just the bottom line. Too much is put on the quarterback. They used to say the quarterback got too much, too much credit and too much blame when things went right and when things went wrong. But you know what? I think now that kind of sticks because everything is really with the RPOs and the emphasis on the passing game. You got to be good at quarterback or you're just not going to get it going on offense.
And you're right. And it is a game that's totally dominated now by offense, which makes some of the other hirings around the country, including at Oregon, bringing Georgia's DC in, make some of these hirings that we see, are we shifting back the other direction where schools are now going to try and put more and more emphasis on defense? And do we ultimately get to a point where, Phil, 70 to 60 ball games that you have to double check when it rolls across the bottom line to make sure that's not a basketball score, it's a football game? Are we going to start going back to the days of 21-17 type finals? I don't see it coming, but we're starting to see some high profile programs go the defensive route as their head coach.
Breaking recruiting story here affecting South Carolina. Looks like Ramon Brown is not going to sign with Virginia Tech. This is the running back out of Virginia. However, it looks like he's going to Maryland. He just put out a respect my decision. Hear the music. Hey, baby. Hey, get down, shorty. Hey, shorty. Every rap song has the word shorty in it, right? So
and does anybody really
Maryland now? He's going to go to Maryland, so that's a running back off the board for South Carolina.
And does anyone actually, when they post that respect my decision on social media, does anyone actually listen? I think that aggravates the fans even more so. And if you've got fans from other schools who are disappointed that you didn't select their school, you telling them to respect your decision is not going to make it better.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out, what does that mean? What do you expect people to do burn down your house or something? I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe there are some crazies out there who would do that. But when you put out there, respect my, does that mean don't come back at me on Twitter with a bunch
That's
of your
my guess.
garbage?
Yeah, that's my guess. And like I said, I mean, if you're already upset and you're that over the top, and that's a you problem, by the way, not the athlete's problem. But if you're that far over the top that you're going to comment on a young man making his decision, the biggest decision he has made since asking his girlfriend to the prom, if you're going to come at him telling you on Twitter, respect my decision, is not going to change your mind. It may make it worse.
And a couple of other things, if I can advise these young men. Number one, nobody reads the stuff that you write on Twitter when you are announcing a transfer or you're decommitting. They're skipping all the stuff. You're asking for forgiveness and just getting down to the bottom line. And nobody watches your videos either. I mean, I fast forward to the very end just to see who you picked. Maybe that's just me. Maybe people are watching them and reading it. That's how I approach it. We'll be back after the break with recruiting.
The Tail Greeter Cure Bowl is more than a game. The Cure Bowl is a movement to help end cancer. Join us as the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers take on the Northern Illinois Huskies. Since 2015, the Bowl has raised a collective $3.88 million for cancer research. We are bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. Join us as Orlando goes pink. Learn more about the game, our memberships, and tickets today at curebowl.com.
The Southeastern Institute of Manufacturing and Technology, known as SIMT, is ready to meet your 3D printing, machining, and social media listening needs. Our list of clients includes business and industrial partners from around the state, the nation, and the globe. In addition, we are providing social media listening services to a variety of businesses and educational institutions, from large companies to law firms to small rural school districts. The SIMT also rents space for training, conferences, and trade shows. Catering services are available for events being held at the SIMT. We are dedicated to customer service and look forward to serving you. Check us out on the web at simt.com to see a full list of our manufacturing services, or give us a call at 843-413-2740.
If you are pregnant, DHEC and the CDC strongly recommend the COVID-19 vaccine. The dangers of the Delta variant, increased risk of severe illness and pregnancy complications are too great to ignore. Pregnant women with COVID-19 are at greater risk for hospitalization and for critical care, including ventilation and admission to the ICU. Pregnant women with COVID-19 are more likely to have major pregnancy complications. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator to find a vaccine near you to protect your unborn baby and yourself.
Life. It has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsibly.sc.com.
Bowl season is here, and it's coming to the Grand Strand. Tulsa and Old Dominion will meet for the second ever Myrtle Beach Bowl, presented by TaxAct. The Golden Hurricane and the Monarchs will meet on the famous surf turf at Brooks Stadium on Monday, December 20th at 2:30. Tulsa looks to grab a win in their 23rd bowl game appearance, while Old Dominion will try and finish their season on a 6-game winning streak. Get your tickets now at myrtlebeachbowlgame.com.
Give it a recruiting report tonight. It is brought to you by our good friends at Seawells. All right, you got a big event coming up as people are getting back together for parties and wedding receptions and business luncheons and awards banquets, corporate outings, all that kind of good stuff. You want to call Seawells and let them handle the catering for you. They'll come to you. That's right. They will come to you and they will carry it out. They'll set it up, they will deliver, and they will clean it up. Or they can host your event at their facility on Rosewood Drive. Their phone number, 803-771-7385. Tomorrow, National Signing Day. Pat, what is the National Signing Day luncheon buffet menu looking like?
Seawells will have carved pork loin, southern fried chicken, and fried flounder. And while we're at it, I want to point out, Andy, thank you. Last night called after we did this segment. Seawells had not updated their menu. So last night, what we read for today, apologies to any of our listeners that went, that was last week's menu. But now this is for tomorrow.
So Andy was checking up on the Seawells menu?
Andy checked up behind us. He absolutely did.
Now, that's weird. That's just flat out weird.
I appreciate you, Andy.
Good man, Andy. Good man. All right. So, again, South Carolina got the commitment from Xavier Short, 6'1", 181 out of Chapin, had been committed to Appalachian State. Shane Beamer offered in person on a visit to the school December 1st, and that put the wheels in motion for Short to join the Gamecocks. He said recently the idea of playing a few miles from his home was critical. I mean, ever since he moved to Columbia, he said he's been a USC fan. And he sold himself on the idea of playing at the next level. He's been working towards that. Versatile player. He can play wideout. He can play slot. He can play H-back. One thing he liked about South Carolina is they told him they're going to use him, as he put it, like a Swiss Army knife. He can play a number of different spots. This season, he caught 67 passes for 1,038 yards and 14 touchdowns. In his career, 217 receptions, 339 yards. Now, by our count, USC has 25 spots in their 22 class accounted for, 21 commitments, and 4 transfers. By my understanding of the rules, the 2 transfers from Oklahoma, because they're enrolling in January, will count on the 22 class. That's my application of the rules. So, again, you got Spencer Rattler, 6'1", 200, and tight end Austin Stogner, 6'6", 251. Joining South Carolina from Oklahoma. Rattler is out of Phoenix. He played 3 seasons at Oklahoma. Redshirted in 2019. In 2020, he was a starter. And in 2020, he was a Davey O'Brien semifinalist, a freshman All-American, 3,112 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, rushed for 160 yards and 6 touchdowns. This season, 1,483 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions after losing his job to Caleb Williams. Now, Stogner's out of Plano, Texas, 3 seasons at Oklahoma. He played in 14 games as a freshman, so he made an immediate impact. In his career, he had 47 catches, 654 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And again, the 2 will enroll in January, and USC made it official today that they are on board. USC target defensive end James Pierce of Charlotte will not sign tomorrow, according to his assistant coach and athletic director Montes Lash at Chamber High. He'll take officials in January. USC will be one. Tennessee is also a program to watch with him moving forward. Cornerback Emory Floyd of Powder Springs, Georgia, confirmed his plans Monday to sign with USC tomorrow. Florida had made a run at him, but he is sticking with the Gamecocks. USC offered 2024 defensive back Zion Ferguson of Loganville, Georgia. The Gamecocks have also offered another player today, and that player is 2024 wide receiver Jalewis Solomon of Ellaville, Georgia. Trinity Collegiate running back Reggion Bennett has decided to wait until February to sign. If we don't break that story, Chris, somebody's head gonna roll there. We don't break that story.
Yeah, I get that. I'm gonna have to squeeze some information out of my wife, but that whole recruitment has been weird for him. Remember, he committed to Buffalo a long time ago, and then decommitted there, and it looked like he may have found a landing spot and would sign tomorrow, but he's posted on Twitter he's going to wait until February.
As I mentioned a little while ago, USC target running back Ramon Brown, Midlothian, Virginia, who had been committed to Virginia Tech, committed to Maryland. Let's see, a couple of other football notes and a basketball note. Mentioned earlier, tell you again, Dalen Everett, former Clemson commitment cornerback. He committed to Georgia. He's the only one of the decommitting 3 to announce a destination at this point. I haven't seen where the others have done anything. Let's see. What else? Got that. Did that. And, all right, basketball. Now, let me mention this. One-time USC target linebacker Morven Joseph, a transfer from Tennessee, committed to FAU. He came into a visit to South Carolina, but after that visit, they didn't really pursue him. Maybe because they got the feeling they were going to get Stone Blanton and they were going to get the Barham kid out of Baltimore, and felt like they were good at linebacker with those two and the others that they have. Basketball, USC's been recruiting 7-1 center Christian Reeves of Charlotte and Oak Hill Academy in Virginia going on 4 years now. And tonight at 8 o'clock, he's going to announce his commitment. Today is his birthday and his mother's birthday. He had been down to the Gamecocks in Minnesota. He also told us recently that other schools were making a move on him, like Creighton for one. But apparently, the feeling there in the basketball recruiting world is that Duke is going to swoop in and get him.
Of course.
Always Duke.
And they've already got 3 7-footers basically on their team now. And you want to talk about the rich just keep on getting richer. Good grief. Krzyzewski, leave some for everybody else on your way out the door.
I mean, this guy, I don't want to speak for him. I mean, Duke is Duke, and he's from North Carolina. He's from Charlotte. I mean, who would say no to Duke if you get an opportunity?
Oh, absolutely.
He took his official to USC in the summer and won to Minnesota in September. I don't even know he's even been to Duke. This has been very hush-hush here, this Duke involvement. He's averaging 9 points, 9 rebounds per game at Oak Hill. And then, and I hate that I can't figure out, I can look it up, Loyal McQueen. Look that up real quick, unless you know off the top of your head. Is she from, she's from South Carolina.
Yeah, she's from over here in the PD.
I was going to say, isn't she from the PD?
Mm-hmm.
Where? Not East. That's not the East Clarendon kid.
No, that's Talasia Cooper.
Yeah, she's committed to South Carolina. Loyal McQueen committed to Alabama. I'm just trying to remember where she's from.
Wilson comes to mind, but I'm not positive on that.
Let me do the old Google here real quick. Come on, Google, come through. She was at Georgia Tech.
Right. Yeah.
And she's transferring to Alabama. Okay. Still don't see where. She's from Wilson.
Okay.
Went to Wilson. Very good. We'll be back.
Are you worn out from wall-to-wall political talk? Instead of hearing more about the stuff in Washington that's mostly out of your control, I'll give you the tools to actually take control of your money and your life. Dave Ramsey here. Join me right here on The Point. I'm live and taking your calls weekdays at 2 p.m. I'll teach you how to get on a written plan that actually works, get out of debt, and build wealth. Weekdays at 2 p.m. The Dave Ramsey Show at 100.7 The Point.
Clemson men's basketball season tickets are on sale now. Starting at $275, you can enjoy all of the action inside Little John Coliseum this season. Home opponents feature South Carolina, Florida State, Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, and more. Visit ClemsonTigers.com to purchase your season tickets. So come back home to Clemson and make your plans to be in Little John Coliseum for a great season of Tiger basketball.
I'm Keith Peters reporting. Congress is moving to raise the nation's debt limit by $2.5 trillion. The Senate has approved the measure 50-49 on a party line vote, sending the legislation to the House. The House vote could come as early as tonight, sending the measure to President Biden. The flurry of action comes just one day before a deadline set by Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen for avoiding a national default. The debt limit must be raised to cover the cost of spending decisions that have already been made by Congress under both Republican and Democratic majorities. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says this is about paying debt accumulated by both parties. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 106 points. The Nasdaq dropped 175. The S&P lower by 34. This is SRN News.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, Kev here with Tim Hanberry from Medicare Blueprint. Open enrollment for the ACA runs through January the 15th, Tim. What's important for our listeners to know?
Well, things have really improved for everybody, Kevin. Whether you're making $20,000 a year or $200,000 a year, we can save you money on your health insurance costs. And Kevin, we do all the work for you. We'll ask you a few questions, and then we'll show you the plans that are the best fit for you. And whether you've been on a plan for a while or looking for coverage for the first time, we'll show you what your options are. And there's no better time than to look at it right now. We can get you better benefits and save you money at the same time. And the best part of this is it just takes one quick phone call and we'll do the rest.
You know, Tim's team has helped save me a ton of money on my health care. If you need help with open enrollment, it'll cost you nothing to call Tim. Just give him a shout at Medicare Blueprint, 803-708-7405, 803-708-7405, or find him online at MedicareBlueprint.com.
Hi, honey. Were you able to drop by True Pharmacy today to pick up Mom's medications?
Yes, she sure is on a lot of meds.
I know. That's why I go over so often to help make sure she's taking them correctly.
Well, I have great news. The pharmacist at True Pharmacy said he can pre-pack her medications into individual doses.
Wow. Knowing she's taking the right meds at the right time will give me great peace of mind. But how much does it cost?
That's the even better part. It's free. Just another great service they offer at True Pharmacy. True Pharmacy, 2 locations, Charleston Highway in West Columbia and Devine Street downtown.
Hey, it's Jay with the Melting Pot. Is it me or does life speed by so much faster this time of year? Your calendar fills up so quickly. Then before you know it, you're scratching your head when you see Christmas decorations for sale at Lowe's. How do you stay connected? Well, thanks for asking. We have the answer. It's fondue. Come in for reconnecting time. Have 4 courses or just chocolate or just cheese. We are here for you. 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard, the Melting Pot.
Hi, this is Taylor Metz.
And this is Roger Metz, your host of Woods and Water, South Carolina.
The time around Christmas and New Year's is one of our favorites to get outside together. No schedule, no stress, just go see what's out there.
Crisp mornings and cold nights that make you catch your breath, but there are lots of companies that make clothes for that, so there's no excuse for staying inside.
We hope you'll take some time this holiday season to get out there and discover the outdoors and take someone with you to share the adventure.
We invite you to listen to Woods and Water, South Carolina in 2022 as we bring the outdoors to you every Saturday afternoon.
Right here on our home in the Midlands, 100.7 The Point.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
I feel like reciting the longtime Christmas carol. It was the night before Christmas. Yeah, because, whoa. Gamecocks get another commitment. DQ Smith from Spring Valley just committed to South Carolina. I'm sorry. Good Lord.
Now you've really confused everybody.
What did I say at the beginning?
Gamecocks get another commitment.
Yeah. Defensive back, quarterback DQ Smith from Spring Valley, who also plays quarterback, just committed to South Carolina. They like him as a safety. He wanted to play quarterback. He said all along he wanted to play quarterback. Georgia Southern pursued him as a quarterback.
Boy, and they can use a quarterback. They are a mess right now. Trying to transition out of the option attack into a more modern pass-oriented offense. And after watching them play this past year, get a new coach, Clay Helton, coming in to take over down there. But he's got a lot of work in front of him to get Georgia Southern back where Eagles fans expect that program to be.
Yes, indeed. But this kid's heading to South Carolina. Let's talk about him. DQ Smith, a really good athlete, quarterback, safety. Went to camp at South Carolina in the summer. They liked him as a safety. They told him that's what you can play in the SEC, not quarterback. You can be a safety, and been a hard guy to reach. Talked to him back early in the recruiting process, but have not been able to reach him recently. Maybe we can reach him later on. DeQuandre Smith, 6'2", 180, and his early offers included South Carolina, Michigan, FAU, Virginia Tech, Charlotte, and Georgia Southern, and he was at South Carolina in the summer. They liked him as a safety. Good size, 6'2", 180. So that's another pickup for South Carolina. That makes 26 in the class now, as DQ Smith just joins the South Carolina staff. I'm sorry, the South Carolina class. I'm sorry. I got 50 million things running through my head. None of it is making sense.
So does somebody have to go? Do they have to cut somebody out of that class?
No. Because of the COVID, the super seniors, the transfers, the NCAA is allowing you to oversign by 7. They're giving you 7 more scholarships this year. So keep on signing them, baby. Keep on signing them. That's what you can do. Just keep on signing. So what I wanted to get to before we get to Dabo Swinney is let's run through the commitments now for both schools, and then I want to talk about plans for tomorrow. So Clemson right now sitting on the following commitments. Cornerback Toriana Pride, cornerback Jaden Lucas, linebacker Jaron Kanak. Though Paul Strelo of Tiger Illustrated wrote this morning there's some concern he might flip to Oklahoma. That would be a blow. Offensive tackle Blake Miller, offensive tackle Colin Sadler, punter Jackson Smith, place kicker Robert Gunn, quarterback Cade Klebnick, safety Sherrod Koval, tight end Josh Sapp, and wide receivers Adam Randall and Antonio Williams. And 2 of their commitments, of their 12 commitments, are special teams guys. And I told you Robert Gunn's coming off a torn ACL. Maybe that's why it's good that Potter is coming back for another year for Clemson. And then South Carolina, cornerbacks Kawan Banks and Keenan Nelson, defensive end Brian Thomas Jr., defensive tackles Felix Hickson, Jamal Weiss, Demetrius Watson, DeAndre Martin, linebackers Donovan Westmoreland, Nick Emanawari, Jay Sean Barham, Stone Blanton, offensive tackles Kaysen Henry, Grayson Maines, Ryan Brubaker. And by the way, these positions can all be, they can be something else once they get there. Quarterbacks, Braden Davis, Spencer Rattler, and Zeb Nolan. Zeb Nolan has a count on this class. Safeties, Anthony Rose, Emory Floyd, Peyton Williams, Tyrese Ross, and now DJ Smith. And tight end, Austin Stogner. And wide receivers, Kylie Horton and Landon Sampson. So that is what we have for the 2 teams right now. And as far as who is still out there going into tomorrow, or maybe even heading into February for South Carolina, so it looks like possibility that Pro Franklin could join them, maybe in a walk-on situation. Don't know they're going to take him as a quarterback. I would imagine Max Johnson is not going to transfer from LSU since they've got Rattler. His brother, Jake Johnson, the 2 of them kind of want to go together. He's still out there after decommitting from LSU. Don't know that that he'll come to South Carolina now. There's James Pierce, who we talked about, and that's it. Those are the ones right now with South Carolina looking forward. Very, very slim list, but they might develop some others over the next couple of weeks to look ahead to February. And as far as Clemson is concerned, they still have Trevor Etienne, the running back, and he's not going to do anything until the All-American game in January. And defensive end Curtis Perry out of Alabama, who's announcing tomorrow. Feeling is he's going to go to either Auburn or Alabama. I think it'd be a big surprise if Clemson gets him. So, and there's a couple of others that Clemson is investigating and trying to get involved with, but that's it right now for the Tigers. And so I think both teams have left themselves positioned, some room there to go into the portal, John, and get some players moving forward here in the weeks to come.
I wish you would trademark that before somebody steals it from you.
No, they can have it. They can have it. Now, let me mention what we're going to do tomorrow. This is just something I came up with today. It's been endorsed by nobody. We're going to do a live stream on our streaming channels on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Probably crank it up about 6:50 in the morning. It's going to be very casual, laid back, nothing fancy. And we're going to report things as they're happening, both on our on our Twitter and our website and on the stream. And we'll take some questions from people who might want to join in and ask questions or comment about things that are going on. And so we'll crank that up about 6:50. Who knows how long it'll run? That's the beautiful thing about streaming. You can go as long as you want to. And we'll take some breaks in there to, let my head rest and catch up on things. But maybe Chris will drop in to offer up a comment or two in the morning.
Yes. Got some basketball prep work to do in the morning, but as soon as I put that to bed, I might hop on for a few minutes and delve into the world of recruiting where I am way in over my head.
No. You can have some observations, Joe, like anybody. You can throw some
Sure.
observations in there. So we'll do that tomorrow, starting about 6:50 or so in the morning. And as the schools announce the signings, they'll be tweeting them out themselves, and that's what we'll be following, their tweets and their website. We don't have any inside connections like that feed us stuff like the old days. No need to now. They put it all out there as quickly as it comes in. And so we'll just be rehashing that and putting that out there for you. But we can talk about it as far as you can send in your question on our StreamYard in the comment box there, and I can respond to them if you see fit to ask a question. So we'll have some fun with that tomorrow. Real quick before the break, and then Dabo Swinney, got to update some basketball because it's going on. So Clemson at the half is leading Miami of Ohio 36-35. Another tight one for the Tigers, who shot 48% in the first half, as did Miami of Ohio. And Hall leads Clemson with 9 points and 3 rebounds. Over at the CLA in Columbia at the half, almost at the half, USC leading Allen 49-22.
They need to stop that fight. Somebody needs to throw in the towel from Allen and stop this thing before it gets way out of hand, as if it isn't already.
Now it's 51-22. And leading the Gamecocks, and everybody's going to play and everybody's going to score in this game. Carter, who's playing very well for them, has got 9. As far as other games, VMI is leading Wake Forest 42-25. Furman is leading North Carolina 36-35 late in the first half. Tennessee all over upstate 51-22. Texas and Tulane canceled. Must be a COVID deal. Mississippi State, Georgia State, South Carolina State, Duke, Memphis, Alabama. Boy, Memphis has been struggling. North Alabama, Auburn, all still to come. Louisville leading Southeastern Louisiana 69-41. LSU over Northwestern State 41-15. And that is it for basketball. So, and of course, tomorrow night, the USC women play at Duke, another top 10 encounter for the USC women, who are, of course, undefeated against everybody thus far. All right, Dabo Swinney caught up with everybody today. First time he's talked since all the departures from his staff and his commitment class and some transfer outs. And he talks about all that. We'll bring you some of it coming up after the break here on Sports Talk. Don't go away.
Bowl season is here, and it's coming to the Grand Strand. Tulsa and Old Dominion will meet for the second ever Myrtle Beach Bowl, presented by TaxAct. The Golden Hurricane and the Monarchs will meet on the famous Surf Turf at Brooks Stadium on Monday, December 20th at 2:30. Tulsa looks to grab a win in their 23rd bowl game appearance, while Old Dominion will try and finish their season on a 6-game winning streak. Get your tickets now at MyrtleBeachBowlGame.com.
We've got Major Billy Downer with us here from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Hunting season is upon us. Major Downer, how do we stay safe?
Smitty, that's a great question. Mistaken for game is a leading cause of hunting accidents each year. So this year, DNR is encouraging everyone to wear hunter orange and use a flashlight when traveling to and from your hunting location in low light. Remember, be safe, be seen.
And remember, life's better outdoors. Visit dnr.sc.gov for more.
COVID-19 booster shots are now available for all adults 18 and older. Increase your protection against COVID-19 by getting your booster shot today. Learn more at scdhack.gov/COVID-19 booster. Keep fighting the spread. Wear your face mask. Stay 6 feet apart. And get vaccinated. Join us and fight the spread. Visit scdhack.gov/vaxfax.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years.
Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Founders is offering a low-rate mortgage with up to $4,000 in closing costs to full-time hospital employees, honoring your frontline efforts against COVID-19. With no PMI, no origination fee, and no limit on the loan amount, you can't go wrong. Visit founders.com/HEC and apply for your hospital employee choice mortgage today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Founders is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by the NCUA.
The Tail Greeter Cure Bowl is more than a game. The Cure Bowl is a movement to help end cancer. Join us as the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers take on the Northern Illinois Huskies. Since 2015, the Bowl has raised a collective $3.88 million for cancer research. We are bringing teams together to find a cure for cancer. Join us as Orlando goes pink. Learn more about the game, our memberships, and tickets today at curebowl.com.
Back we are, Sports Talk on a Tuesday night all across the Palmetto State. Chris Bergen here in Florence. Meantime, back home, you got Pat Daniel and Phil Kornblut holding things down in Columbia. You can be a part of the program here, the final few moments that we have on the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number at 888-898-2525. Earlier today, as a matter of fact, just finishing up within the last hour, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney met with the media for the first time since what he described as one of the best weeks of his life, getting to see C.J. Spiller inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame out in Las Vegas. And then, of course, Brent Venables and also Tony Elliott leaving coordinators' roles with the Tigers to assume head coaching jobs at both Oklahoma and Virginia. So Dabo sat down with the media, talked a lot about the staff at the beginning. We covered that. So we're going to skip ahead in his press conference and pick up where he was asked about his current team and what things look like going into the matchup with Iowa State here in a couple of weeks. And he was asked initially, all right, who's going to be in, who's out in terms of injuries? And here's what Dabo Swinney had to say.
Ross, no, but in Gata, hopefully. There's a chance, you know. I mean, if we don't have some type of setback, I would say there's a chance. Probably another day. He's working hard in yellow right now, so probably know a little bit more about him by the end of the week. We've got EJ back. That's a positive. So, you know, just hope, you know, we can keep progressing with a couple of these guys. Salato's in green, so it's good to get him back. He's been out for a couple ball games since got hurt in pregame. So it's been kind of crazy, but man, we found a way. And, you know, again, playing our best football somehow, some kind of way.
In addition to Ross, any other guys that might opt out and start preparing for the draft?
Ross hadn't opted out. Who said Ross opted out?
Opted out, but they won't be able to play in the bowl.
No, yeah, we hadn't had anybody opt out, but Ross is just not going to be ready to play. But he'll be with us. He'll be there. He'll be with us. So as far as injury wise, right now the only one is Spector. He's got to have. In fact, he had surgery today. As a matter of fact, today's 14th, so he had to have surgery. So he is going to be out. Had to have his hand fixed. So he's not. He's been playing with a broken part in his hand for a couple games, and so they had to get that fixed. So he's not going to be able to be healed up in 14 days or whatever we got. So he literally just had surgery today. But other than that, you know, there's really nothing new.
Yeah, and you had some high-profile decommitments recently. What did you chalk that up to?
You know, just there's always some consequences with change, and again, it's all good. I don't. You're never going to hear me. Listen. Y'all know I'm a person of faith. God never says oops. You know, I truly am prayerful about who comes here. And I always pray that it's God's will. And so if this isn't the right place for a young man, then, hey, listen, all you can do is wish him well. I mean, I've never worried about that. I just focus on who is here and doing the best job I can, with those guys, because that's the ones that I know it's God's will that they're here. That's how I look at it. So and we're thankful to have the opportunity to recruit young people, and you meet a lot of great people along the way. But at the end of the day, everybody's got a decision to make. And, sometimes there's some consequences with change, and, it's a little bit different landscape out there, but it's all good.
You said this has been in the works for a while. It's years accurate? Like, you have a
Yeah.
part?
Yep. I hadn't had any change in 7. It's been a while. So.
Even if you knew that, then, did Wes know it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the only way I kept him. Not 7 years ago, but in the last couple of years, he's known that. It's the only reason I was able to keep him, I think, because, again, he's turned down several jobs. He's a no drama guy. And it's been awesome to be able to keep him.
Brent never met a gut X splits on 3rd and 11 that he didn't like. Are you excited about seeing the nuances of how Wes kind of calls a game?
Wes works with the best of the best. He got to start with Ellis Johnson, and I worked with Ellis at Alabama, good friend, and Ellis is one of the best. He worked with Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele is one of the best, and then he's been around some great ones in the NFL. Spent a lot of time with Sylvester Croom as well. Bruce, man, he and I both done a tour of duty with Bruce. So I worked for Bruce in 1997. I was his tight ends coach. So he was our coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and I was his tight ends coach. So one of the best years of my life was working for him. I learned a lot. And so, we've always had that connection. Bruce has tried to take him back, but again, we're able to hang on to him. But he's worked with obviously Brent, and so he just has a wealth of experience that I think he will tap into, and again, do it his way. That's all I want him to do within the Clemson philosophy.
Hey, Coach, it's Trevor.
Trevor's not here. How are you not here?
Here I am. I'm wrapping up a self-quarantine, Coach. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But I know that you'll have your exit interviews after the bowl game, but I was just curious if you have any idea of whether Tyler Vanderbilt is leaning forward to staying at Clemson.
Yeah, Tyler's told me he's staying. Brent told me he's staying. So I think that's, Brent wants him to stay here. Tyler told me he was staying. Jake's staying. Jake's going to transition, off the field. But I think both of them are planning on being here. Again, anything could change, but that's their intention. And super excited about that.
All right, Dabo Swinney from his press conference today. He'll be talking again tomorrow, National Signing Day. And Shane Beamer will talk for the first time since the Gamecocks got underway with bowl practice earlier this week. He'll have a press conference tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And I guess he did speak. Yeah, both of them talked after they got their bowl bids. So this is the first time we're hearing from them since the bowl bids came out. And so Shane Beamer will be talking about his signing class, which continues to grow with DQ Smith of Spring Valley committing tonight to the Gamecocks as a safety, a guy that multi-talented, two-way player for Spring Valley, high-level program coached by Robin Bacon, very good athlete. And I guess South Carolina won out in convincing him that, you know what, you might want to play quarterback at Georgia Southern. That was really the other school he was considering. But you're not going to play quarterback in the NFL. And if you want to play in the league, if that's your goal, your best bet is to come in and commit to be a safety and be as good as you can be back there. And they must have won that, they must have won that battle in terms of convincing him what's best for his future, Chris.
Sitting here thinking, and obviously I guess you can look, if you're going to rate the classes, which is always a great talking point after tomorrow, Spencer Rattler how would you rate him into the class? And once all of that is compiled, Phil, where would you put this recruiting class that Shane Beamer has put together this year in comparison to maybe some of the best that South Carolina under, say, Steve Spurrier have ever had? Are we talking a historic class here for the Gamecocks, or is that going way overboard for them?
Well, not historic, I don't think. if you go by the rankings, of course, that's going to be a big topic of conversation throughout the day tomorrow and the days to follow.
Right.
I get that. You can't avoid it. It's there. You can't avoid it. It's like the plague. I mean, Spurrier had some top 10 classes in there, and this one I don't think is going to climb that high. And I'm not sure now how they integrate the transfers into the ranking points and all that kind of stuff. I think they have their own separate rankings with these networks now. But anyway, considering where they started and where they're at and what they had to work with, they've done an excellent job. I mean, if you look at the class top to bottom, and that's what I go by, did you fill your needs and did you recruit players by and large who could have gone to any other major college power in the SEC, ACC, Big Ten? Did you have players that other schools really wanted? And I think by and large, they've got a majority of that in this class. And I mean, they've really addressed the defensive side of things. They got a lot of defensive players in this class. I think they've addressed their offensive line nicely. Of course, with the transfer, they've taken care of the quarterback position. They really hit the secondary hard. I still think they got to do something at wide receiver. They've got two, Kylie Horton and Landon Sampson, assuming that Horton plays wide receiver. He's an athlete, but he played 8-man football. So, he's a guy that's going to be very raw from a football standpoint. But he's a talent at 6'4", 180. Where he'll play, it remains to be seen. I think he was recruited for wide receiver. Landon Sampson's very good. No problem there with him. I really like the defensive front as well. I think DJ Watson is going to be really, really good. DeAndre Martin looks like a good player. And Jamal Weiss, coming from Miami, he seems to have a bit of a swagger and an edge to him from what I can tell. Brian Thomas has got NFL background in his blood. Got good players, I think. So I think they've got a lot to really like about this class. No question about it. All right. A reminder, National Signing Day is tomorrow. And we will be live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at about 6:50 tomorrow morning, give or take.
If anything else, folks, wake up to see Phil Kornblut up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
That is not a sight for sore eyes, I can promise you that. And we'll have some fun talking recruiting on National Signing Day. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Chris. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Someone will be right with you. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The Senate votes to raise the debt limit by $2.5 trillion, avoiding a default. Correspondent Mike Gracia reports.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays